What up, Tag Nation? On this edition of NXT.A.G, we got new faces and championship implications all happening on pretty much this new era of NXT. But more after the intro.
You guys already know this is the main one tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G sucks. T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
T.A.G's gonna kill it.
That's T.A.G shit.
Whose house? T.A.G's house, baby.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.
Hey, look here. I don't really know if y'all pay attention to the intro like that, but the fact that we got Hall of Famer and gold medalist Kurt Angle on the drop still just almost brings a tear to my eye. But we're here to talk about NXT for tonight. And yeah, we're in this new era. Apologies that I wasn't able to record last week, but we're in this new era now. We have new faces, new crop of talent that's being brought in and brought up from Evolve to kind of start fresh, to start anew in NXT. You know, pretty much all of the truly established talent like that is gone. Literally Tony D, because he's been there since 2.0's inception, but literally Tony D. But for the most part, everybody is within 2, maybe 3 years of NXT, except for one other person that I'm going to bring up in a minute, well, in moments. But for the most part, new faces, you know, new established stars that we have to build up so they can be main roster ready. They can be Raw, SmackDown ready. But, you know, let's get into it with this women's tag match. You got newcomer Lizzie Rain, NXT North American Women's Champ Tatum Paxley taking on Nikita Lyons and Zarya. Now, pretty much this match is a construct of last week. The fact that Lizzie, Nikita, and Zarya are pretty much all vying for the Women's North American Championship. And you know how it goes in wrestling, especially in the world of WWE. If all the competitors are beefing or in the ring, they got to put you in a tag match. Yeah, the heels versus faces. And this was actually a pretty good match. And then let's just face it, if you've been seeing the way Zarya has been moving lately, you kind of seen how this match was going to end. But it was some good back and forth, especially, you know, them really kind of showcasing Lizzie, since, you know, she is the newcomer who's been taking NXT by storm, pun intended, especially when we get to her finisher. And it was actually just good just to see, you know, who's next up for Tatum. But the closing moment, Big Cat Keita tried to go for a tag for Zarya. Zarya jumped off the apron and pretty much left Nikita to get beat up. And she got hit with that Thunderstruck, which is, you know, that step up knee strike that Lizzie Rain does. And Lizzie gets the pin. She gets the 1, 2, 3. And just to fast forward what happens later, Tatum, Lizzie, and Shiloh are back there talking. And Tatum pretty much tells Lizzie, next week, I'm giving you a title shot. So next week on NXT, Big Tatum Paxley is taking on Lizzie Rain for that Women's North American Championship. And I'm like, okay, let's go. We do get a segment of the Ren QCC, of course, Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray. Ren is on crutches for her getting injured by Kalani Jordan. And it's pretty much the main event is Kendall taking on Kalani. And they're pretty much saying that most likely there's going to be title implications because these women are vying for the championship as well, even though you still got Izzy Dame kind of lurking in the shadows, and she's been giving Lola the business here and there because Nico and Izzy did beat Lola and Mr. Iguana last week. So it's kind of coming off as Izzy maybe getting the next title shot. So there's that. So after that little segment, which pretty much they're just talking, we get to the debut of Naraku. That's formerly NJPW's Evil. And he's taking on Lindsay Dorado. Lindsay is actually killing it in AAA. But we knew he wasn't going to get this dub. I mean, Naraku is debuting. And they made a big deal about Naraku. So, sorry, Lindsay. Sorry. But it was a pretty good fight until, Naraku handled business and pretty much gets the dub. There's a segment later on with him backstage talking to Stone. And it was pretty much Stone kind of, officially welcoming him, saying good match and everything. So nothing too crazy. But he is one of the gentlemen that is eyeing that championship that Tony D has. But I think from the way it's looking, they're going to let Tony D fight the other people first, which I'm going to get to a little later. Then probably around late summer, maybe the fall, I could see them go ahead and making the collision course officially between Tony D'Angelo and Naraku. And most likely Naraku getting that belt up off Tony D, if I'm being honest. But very impressive start for Naraku. I hope that if they plan on doing what I say they're going to do, and look, they may even fast track it. I hope he's not just beating up on talent that is like, okay, come on now. This the person? Y'all choose to fight him? Okay, fine, okay. Make it believable, I guess. But excuse me, guys. But yeah, so I'm just hoping that he's not just, and I don't want to say beating up on jobbers because that's unfair to the others, but I hope they're not just beating up on people where it's like, okay, who is this guy? Who is this person? So, but yeah, Naraku, impressive debut over Lindsay Dorado. Next up, we do get a segment. We get a segment that leads into the match. EK Prosper, Sean Legacy, and Tate Wilder are backstage talking, and they pretty much talking about the 6-man tag they're about to have against Birthright. Dorian Van Der shows up, and I think they were saying he was cleared, or he was almost cleared, and the fact that he's wanting some revenge against Birthright, but they was like, make sure you're good first, don't just go in wanting revenge and then they pretty much beat you up again kind of energy. So we get to this 6-man tag, and there's bodies everywhere, people flying around, people doing stuff, but the crux of this match was Tate Wilder. Tate Wilder is the young upstart that wants the action, he wants to showcase his skills, but he forgot this was a tag match. Because Tate just decided, I'm going to just do it myself. It wasn't like EK and Sean was just taken out to where it was like Tate had nobody to tag. Tate just decided, I got to do this on my own. And ultimately, it led to him just getting beat up by damn near all of Birthright minus Lexus King and Ariana Grace. And then what made it even funny was EK and Sean didn't even think to break up the pin. Like when Birthright did the move to finish it, they didn't even run in to try to break up the pin. They just kind of sat on the apron, kind of looking like, yeah, we're gonna just take this L kind of energy. And it was like, okay, like y'all didn't even think to break the. Okay, I just gonna willingly take that loss. All right, cool. It was like cool. And then later there was a segment with Tate Wilder back there talking with Robert Stone. But I will get to that because there was layers to that. You know, it was like an onion. There was layers to that before it got to the end. Next up, we do get a segment with Natty was doing a little interview for LFG. And while she was talking, she was interrupted by Jada Parker, which that was responding to when Natty called Jada Parker weak. And, you know, Jada was like, well, I'm going to show you weak because you're going to come to NXT and call me weak. But then when I show up, you know, now you busy, now you this, you know, now you want me to leave and all that. So I guess we're going to expect the Natty and Jada collision course at some point. And I wonder if this is going to be the thing that's going to get Jada, I guess, back to these winning ways. Because once again, the fact that Jada has not had the speed, North American, or women's championship is crazy. Especially how popular she is. But moving on. We do get a segment with the culling. And I guess I didn't fully pay attention, but I heard them pretty much giving Izzy her praise about the way she handles the culling. Then there was something weird between her and Sean Spears to where Sean was kind of giving her this look like, like I guess I should have went back and watched that scene. But pretty much Izzy was saying, you know, her and Nico got the dub over Iguana and Lola. And if Lola's going to be watching the match tonight, I'm going to be watching it too. Okay. Next up, we officially get Mason Rook signed to NXT. He was the gentleman that attacked Tony D when him and when Tavion Heights attacked Tony D, and then he was the gentleman that did the moonsault. Last week he beat up on Tony D and Miles Bourne, so he's officially signed into the roster. And as he was putting pen to paper, Tony D comes out and he was trying to have an exchange. And then Cam Hendricks comes out to start to beat up on Mason Rook. Mason jumps off the top rope, did a moonsault to Tony D, Cam, and the security. Then he goes in, signed the contract, shoved it in Stone's chest, and boom. Mason Rook officially on the NXT roster. Then, this was the other gentleman I was talking about, Noam Dar. Now, we know Noam Dar has been throughout NXT, 205 Live, and all of these things. And we always know, as talented as Noam Dar is, that man can get an injury. And when he gets an injury, my God, is he out. This was Noam Dar's, they said it, but this was Noam Dar's first match, I think they said, since April 2025. I think they said he had just came back in April 2025 and pretty much got injured again. And I want to say this was his first match back. Like, Metaphor was still a thing when Noam Dar got injured because they brought up Metaphor. And like, just to remember that moment in time of Metaphor, and for those that don't remember Metaphor, it was Noam Dar, Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, and Oro Mensah. As we know, Jakara is now Mara Sade. Oro is released, and I don't know where he's currently wrestling. Lash is on the main roster. So that lets you know time has passed. Time has passed since Metaphor. But he is back taking on Jackson Drake. And of course, Jackson Drake got the whole crew. He has Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, and Michael Lockwood. And this was a good showing for Noam. You know, especially coming back. This was a good showing for him. But of course, the numbers game was going to be too much. He did beat up the tag team champs, but then Micah got involved. And, you know, with her being like Vanity Project's China, you know, she pretty much held Noam's leg for Jackson Drake to hit the running knee. and then he hit his 450 and 1-2-3. Jackson Drake gets the dub. And as Vanity Project is in the ring, the lights go out for Dark State, and Dark State pretty much is saying, hey, we want the tag team titles back. And they was like, well, we were the ones that beat y'all for the tag team championships and all of this. And when they was talking, Cutler and Osiris was saying, we're not the ones challenging y'all for the tag titles. Dion and Saquon, y'all need to get it together. So y'all will be taking on Vanity Project next week for the tag team titles. And we need y'all to be on the same page so y'all can bring gold back to Dark State. And it was like, Now they were on the same page because Vanity Project did try to attack. And they was able to fend off all three members. But it's gonna be interesting since it's gonna be Saquon and Dion. And then even though Cyrus said if things don't work out, then we might have to make a change to Dark State. So the plot thickens. Then we get a segment, Emily Agard. Last week she had her first segment with Keanu Carver. This week she has a segment with OTM. Of course, OTM being Bronco and Lucian. And Bronco had his little brother. And it was a pretty nice little segment letting you know more about OTM and, you know, a little bit of their personal life and everything. So it makes me wonder, are they going to finally pull the trigger and let them boys be tag champs? Because, I mean, strike while the iron is hot. Please. Then we get Bourne and Heights back there talking. Miles Bourne was telling Tavion that Miles Bourne was telling Tavion that he's in a tag team match next week. And Tavion's like, all right, bet, who we gonna fight? And Bourne was like, I said, I'm in a tag team match. Next week is gonna be Miles Bourne and Tony D taking on Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook, sorry. And Tavion was mad and he was like, I see. So it was convenient for you to be my friend, for you to be my boy. But now that you got that championship and you all champion now, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing for your boy. And of course, Miles was like, it's nothing like that. And he was like, you know what? Save it. Fine. Bet. I hope y'all win. And this is what I was talking about with that segment. So Naraku talked to Stone. That's why I told you that, you know, they had a little interesting interaction. Then that's when Stone goes in his office. Cam and Mason was in his office. And that's when they was like, well, we're not a tag team and y'all pairing us up. And they was like, well, y'all been doing what y'all doing. Now y'all gonna be tagging and pretty much all of that. And then they leave. Tate Wilder comes in, and that's when he was saying, you know I got the loss, but I want more opportunities. I'm ready to go. I'm trying to prove myself. As he was saying all of that, Keanu Carver walks in, and then Stone was like, well, hey, if you want a match so bad, take on Keanu Carver next week. Tate looks at Keanu, sizes him up, and he was like, fine, I'll take him on. And then when Wilder leaves, Keanu was like, oh, he must got a death wish. And Stone was like, I think so. Then we get to our main event. Kendall Gray, the standout Kalani Jordan. And people, and they was kind of saying on for the commentary, once again, that title implications are on the line. Before the match started, they talked to Callie Armstrong, and she was saying about how she's trying to run through the whole locker room. She's trying to get pretty much all the championships or whatever, like whatever championship she can get a hold to first. That's what she wants. And then when she was like, yeah, as y'all saw me in Evolve, I ran through everyone. And that's when Kendall Gray walks up and was like, not everyone. And then boom, we lead into this match. Lola was back there watching. Izzy was back there watching. And these two actually deliver a pretty good, solid match. Kendall with her wrestling background, Lonnie with her gymnastics background. it actually worked pretty well. It actually worked pretty well with this match. But of course, you knew shenanigans and chicanery was going to happen. Like, it was too many moving parts and pieces for that to happen. So, Ren was out there. She was on crutches. She was chilling. She was like, hey, I'm letting... And she even told Kendall earlier, maybe I shouldn't come out there because I'm on crutches. And Kendall was like, nah, you got to be out there. And she was like, all right, cool. The closing moments, while they show Lola back there watching, Izzy comes beating up on Lola. They come fighting to the outside. From the fighting and the scuffling with the security, Ren gets knocked over, which caused Kendall to pay attention. Lonnie to capitalize, hit that split leg, that one of a kind split-legged moonsault. She gets the dub. Okay, now this is where it got funny to me. Kendall knew this was all an accident. So when Lola comes back out there to check on Ren, Kendall is getting in Lola's face and pushing on Lola because of what happened with Ren. Then when Izzy comes and big boots Lola, Kendall just kind of fade back like she wasn't the reason why. And I was like, that was fucked up. Because she was trying to check on your homie. You getting in her face for checking on the homie. Then when the other girl boots her in the face, you kind of... Outside looking in, it almost kind of felt like Kendall set her up. It almost felt like Kendall set up Lola to take that big boot from Izzy. And that's pretty much how the show ended. And I was like, that was messed up, Kendall. That was messed up. But yeah, NXT, once again, we in this new era. You know, Cam Hendricks, Mason Rooks, Lizzie Rain, Naraku, Tristan Angels. I forgot about Tristan Angels. He had his little Tristan Angels and Shiloh will be having a match next week. Tate Wilder. You still have the upstart of Birthright. You still have people like EK Prosper, Dorian Van Dude, Sean Legacy. You still have the women's division with Callie Armstrong and then of course you have Zarya's and Nikita's all vying for championships. And the main title scene for the women, Izzy Dane looks like it's going to be Lola's next challenge. But then you still got Kendall and Lonnie. So once again, all of this is just new and uncharted territory. And your boy is here for the ride. If you've been watching the Tag Me In episodes and we've been making jokes about Death Riders and being in the car, riding this Death Riders storyline out, I'm in the car when it comes to NXT. Seatbelt buckled, enjoying the ride. Because I'm truly excited to see, can Sean truly cook with this new crop of talent? Can Shawn Michaels truly chef it up that we've been knowing HBK to do? And I have full faith in HBK that he's going to chef up some good product. But yeah, let us know down in the comments below. Whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, share, comment down below what you think about the new NXT. After you do all of that, if you haven't already, tag that subscribe button and then tag that notification bell so you can be notified for all the videos. Shout outs to Lip Dizzle, Jaeger Bombastic, Leo, and Juggernaut. And shout outs to all y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? Can't forget y'all, Tag Nation. Cannot forget y'all. And don't forget, love yourself, love one another, take care of yourself and take care of one another. And you beautiful, 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 beautiful people out there, don't forget to tag out.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama